See, it's stuff like this that gives me trust issues.
Welcome to the Trust Issues podcast. We have trust issues with the traditional society-dictated path, with the status quo, with the whole get an education, land a job, and work tirelessly until you're 6 feet under. It's time to upgrade your life with the help of us. I'm Erica.
And I'm Kyle Auckland. We're a husband and wife duo, but we're also entrepreneurs, biohackers, and business builders.
Every week, we're dedicated to having purposeful conversations with each other and leading experts on topics like wellness, relationships, and entrepreneurship.
Subscribe to Trust Issues Podcast if you're looking for bold topics, honest dialogue, and valuable lessons.
Welcome back to another episode of the Trust Issues Podcast. I'm so excited that you're here today because I'm going to introduce you to a friend of mine and just a brilliant marketing mind that you must hear from. Her name is Natasha Willis, and I have just loved learning from her when it comes to all things chat funnels. In today's episode, we're going to explore a game-changing approach to marketing that is truly transforming the way that I do business and the way that so many others are doing business and connecting with their customers online. I've actually done a solo episode today with Natasha because I wanted to get really nitty-gritty and I wanted to ask her so many specific questions to help you really understand what the heck is a chat funnel, how can you use it in your business, and where you can go to learn more. In a world where online communication is at the forefront, the power of conversational marketing cannot be underestimated, okay? It is all about creating meaningful, real-time interactions with your audience. We know like everyone wants everything instantaneously, right? And there is one company that is truly leading the charge in this, and that is School of Bots. Our guest today, like I said, Natasha, she is the visionary founder of School of Bots with a mission to help online businesses scale to their fullest potential. Natasha and her team specialize in harnessing the incredible potential of chat funnels, not only on platforms like Instagram DM and Facebook Messenger, but across the entire conversational marketing spectrum. So literally taking people from Instagram to your email marketing platforms, building an email list, and truly building a huge piece of your marketing strategy. So whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur and you're like, I got this, or you're just starting and you're a small business owner, but you know that you want one of two things. You want more leads, more sales. You need to stay tuned into this episode because she shares so much of her expertise. She shares case studies, she shares insights and success stories that are going to empower you to leverage the incredible power of chat funnels. So without further ado, let's dive into this episode. I think you're going to love it. Now listen, it's a little hefty, like we get into it. And so some of this may feel a little overwhelming, but I promise you by the end of the episode, you're going to feel like you can create chat funnels as well. And you can use this incredible strategy to start building your online business, whatever industry you're in. All right, let's get into it. Natasha, welcome to Trust Issues Podcast. I'm so excited to have you today.
I'm so excited to be here. It has been such a joy getting to know you over the last couple of months, and now for us to get to sit down and speak about all the things, especially with your audience of people who are like some of my favorite to explain this stuff to. It's going to be such a blast. So thank you for having me. I'm honored to be here.
You are so welcome, and I am excited to nerd out because I think that, I've been in the online space since the inception of Instagram, been in digital marketing for 14 years, and I feel like this is such a relevant conversation for if you are a content creator, if you're an influencer, if you want to create your own digital products, you need to understand the concept of chat funnels. When I first found you and I was first trying to get my head around this whole idea, it felt super overwhelming. But you have such a beautiful way of making this feel really doable and really approachable for any online content creator. So I'd love for you to just give us an overview of what is a chat funnel, obviously introduce us to School of Bots and what you guys do so that we can kind of segue into how this can help any of our listeners.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll start with the background piece just to get it out of the way just quickly. Long story short, what we'll be talking about is this process of creating fully automated back and forth conversations in the DMs. And way back in the day, this was at the same phase as what I would explain as like the fart app phase of apps. And so in 2016, people were like, this is cool, but like, what can I actually do with this? So they're like sending podcast links or like just doing kind of simple stuff where now this is a way to generate leads and sales, whether they're for your own products or for brand partnerships or affiliates, which we can get into all of that fun stuff. But ultimately, in the background of it all, my now husband and I started our marketing agency now over 7 years ago. And we focused on this from the get-go. But it was so new, like I said, that nobody had any idea how to do this. But we were really determined and relentless to figure this out because we knew that this was where communication was going on messaging apps, instant messaging instead of, just SMS or email as being ways to communicate with businesses. And so we took a really big gamble. It ended up working out, which I feel very lucky and grateful for. But it's been quite a ride. And now at this point in time, we have our marketing agency, and then we also have coaching programs, which you've gone through, and many of our mutual contacts as well, where we're able to help businesses create these systems for themselves and have it be self-sustainable and run on autopilot, essentially. So if you're wanting to save time whilst growing your business, and increasing those leads, those email lists, those sales, that's really what we're all about. And in terms of everything we're going to talk about too, I just think it's helpful for people to know that there's a lot of data backing up everything you and I will talk about. So us personally, we've now generated over $50 million in revenue with all the strategies we'll talk about. And that's been backed up by over 60 million of messages that we've actually sent through all these frameworks. So I'll try to pull as many stats as I can too, just to help people understand this is not like a, one-time thing that happened, but it's really a repeatable process that we've now proven again and again thousands of times.
And I will say my own experience, because yes, I did go through your first cohort of the School of Bots coaching program. And I just pulled stats for myself last night because I wanted to prepare for this call. And I want to say, so the exact number was 5,374 new email list subscribers just from my chat funnels. And that came from, I didn't get to, my son woke up, I had to go get him, but I looked through all the reels that it actually came from, because the chat funnel, for those of you who are listening, my chat funnel was hooked up to a specific reel that I had posted on my Instagram page, and I don't even have the largest following. I'm right under 50,000 in followers, and very new at this myself. Only have been doing this for probably, I would say, 8 to 12 weeks now. Then I took your program and got a whole new level of understanding. So I want to say that was about 8 to 10 reels that I did that generated almost 6,000 new email list subscribers for free. So it works, and it excited me so much because I'm about to head into my own launch for my own course that I have. And how cool to be able to harness and utilize free organic marketing to bring in an unlimited amount of leads. Like what Natasha is talking about, if you are listening right now, is legit. And if you are not doing this right now, you are leaving so much on the table for your business. Doesn't matter what industry you're in. So can you give us kind of a to Z scenario of what one typical chat funnel that you would help one of your clients build so that the listener can understand really how this would work in their own marketing?
Yeah, absolutely. And firstly, I'm so freaking excited to hear that. I know we haven't really touched base on where you are at with results and everything. So that brings me so much joy and totally just made my day. So that makes me really happy. And I love that you shared that and are willing to share that too with your listeners. So again, people can just get all these different examples that we'll probably run through by the end of the episode so that they can understand how do I start to do this for myself. But in terms of that user journey, to give people kind of the quick and dirty of, okay, as a user on Instagram, here's how you might go through the process. So let's say, in fact, I'll maybe use you as an example, even if you don't have a chat funnel like this set up, but let's say you have a free download that you're offering people. And so instead of telling people, hey, click the link in my bio to get it from your posts, or click the link in my stories to get it, what you would do instead is that on your feed post, you can have people comment a specific word or phrase. And there's a little bit of a science and an art to deciding on what that word's going to be. But long story short, it could be something simple like blueprint. Let's say that your free download is going to show people the blueprint to whatever outcome they're looking for, right? And I'll go over some other examples for people who maybe don't have products themselves, but just for the purpose of this example, since I think most everyone and their mom now has opted in for some kind of free PDF, in their life, they may be familiar with what that feels like on a landing page and then be able to translate that to this medium. So people comment the specific word. Let's say you say comment blueprint on this post and I'll send over, this free resource for you. So after you comment on the post, again, as the user, you will now immediately get an automated comment response as well from Erica, whoever you're commenting on. And it could say something simple like, hey, I'm so excited for you to dive into this. Go ahead and check your DMs. I just sent this over. And we do that for two reasons. One, the reciprocation aspect of, hey, you just engaged with me. Like, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, which I think is a big deal for content creators and just people who care about building a curated community. The second piece is that it nudges people over to their DMs so that they know, oh, great, I have a DM from them. That's where that thing that I asked for is going to live. So from a psychology standpoint, you're giving someone permission to come into your DMs as a user and you want this thing, right? Which I think is important to understand on the business side as well, just so they understand how this is a win-win for both. And it's not just like a, hey, you're just popping into people's DMs like many of us get every day with unsolicited, like sales inquiries or bots or all these different kinds of things. But instead, this is actually an invitation that people have given you to enter their DMs and deliver the thing that you've promised. So once they get into the DMs, then there are a couple of steps. So we really treat this like a conversation. There are, like at the time we're recording, quite a few people who are using very simple automations where they'll just send people a link to maybe the freebie or the thing that they're promising as soon as they get into the DMs. That's great. And it's much better than just using link in bio. However, there are so many other layers, like you kind of mentioned, that you've, uncovered and learned through the process and been able to implement for yourself. And so what that actually looks like is we first send people a DM after they comment to say, hey, sounds like you're interested in whatever the thing is that you were promising. So this blueprint, this free resource, just let me know if that's the case and I'll go ahead and get it over to you. After people engage with that first message, now as a user, I'm going to share my name and my email so that you can get the freebie over to me. And then at the end of that, now you can do a couple of different things. We could literally give them the freebie there and be like, great, I emailed it to you. Also, here it is for reference. Like, that's it. Maybe you skip giving them the freebie in the DMs because you say, hey, I just emailed it to you. And now I actually have this other resource. Maybe it's a masterclass, a free webinar. Maybe it's a low ticket offer that you have that would really help them continue to achieve the outcome they're looking for. Maybe it's literally anything else you have going on that you kind of want to get a 2-in-1, if you will, in that campaign, which is something so unique to the DMs because it converts really well. It happens really fast. So there's not a whole lot of friction like there might be with the landing page. And you can help people get further in your journey to make a decision if they want to do business with you or, just buy from you or from the brand partner that you're promoting. So that in itself is kind of the user journey you experience. And then on the business side, just know, since I mentioned the email marketing platform piece, that all those emails you're collecting, like Erica just mentioned, all that's actually flowing into her email marketing software automatically. So it's a much better process because we're able to collect 85% or more of people's emails there versus sending them to the link in bio and then having people opt in on a landing page. And there's so many more steps. And in general, on landing pages, opt-in rates on average are usually 20 to 25%. Sometimes with organic traffic, a little bit higher, but usually when you're looking at it overall, it's so much lower. So there are all those benefits that have kind of stacked there when it comes to doing this instead. I'm going to pause there. Does that make sense? And anything else you'd want me to dive into there?
It makes so much sense. And just, because I'm, you're the expert and I'm the one who took your coaching program and went through this process myself, right? So, you think about it. If you are in the DMs with someone and you're sending them to an external page, you lose people. And that's why this is so, and you're losing the majority of people because like you said, 20 to 25% of people will actually opt in to whatever your amazing free offer is. If it's a free quiz or if it's a free whatever, it could be the best thing ever that you're giving so much value to the consumer, the potential customer. You're getting, I can say and speak for my own results, I see my conversion rates and it's, 85 to 99% of, conversion where people are like, yes, here's my email. Go ahead and give me that free thing. And it happens all inside of the DM. So I think if we do practical application to, maybe we can apply this to a couple different business scenarios. So if you are, one thing I think is I always love to learn from other industries because you have so many different types of people who take, the School of Bots and you get in your cohorts. And that's I've seen e-com, I've seen affiliate marketers, I've seen obviously coaches, authors, for book launches, so many different types of people. Can you tell me maybe one example of how this could apply to someone who's launching a new protein supplement or a new, e-commerce brand and how that could apply to them launching with a chat funnel?
Yes, totally. And we can run through that. Might even be fun. I'm sure you have your whole agenda of like what you want to make sure we cover too. But if we even did like rapid fire, okay, this business type, how could they kind of
Oh,
use it? And
I
then,
would love that.
okay, that might be fun.
Yes.
I don't think I've
Okay.
done a style podcast like that just yet, although like totally should, because I think it's just a quick way for people to get it. So, e-commerce, let's use protein supplements because I actually have a recent case study that I can give you guys for that. And so, long story short, somebody is, let's say it's an e-commerce brand that's already existing. And so there's a couple of phases of the campaign that we can consider here. The first is that this kind of pre-launch waitlist strategy that a lot of e-commerce brands will use to be like, hey, get on the list, be the first one to know. You guys can do that for digital products as well, for your books, of course, for brand partnerships, literally anything, even if it's just a few days beforehand. So what we'll typically do is either leave it kind of mysterious, like, hey, you know, if you want to be the first to know about this thing going on. In fact, we just did this for Jamie Kern-Lima, who is a best-selling author, and there were
I
like
saw
2
that.
or 3 days of promo. We collected almost 2,000 emails from that, and nobody even knew what it was, right? It's just a simple, and actually one of our mutual friends and one of my clients, Jenna Kutcher, we collected 7,000 emails for a thing that no one knew what it was either.
Amazing. Oh my
So,
gosh.
yeah, so it works well for that kind of warmer audience that you all might have. If you have a little bit of a smaller following and you're like, I don't know if, you know, people would be interested in this, you could create maybe a freebie or something that kind of entices them to be like, hey, you'll get signed up to be the first to know about this thing. And as a bonus, you'll like immediately get this like cool free thing that I can share. And it could be like the simplest thing. So long story short, that kind of waitlist strategy, then you can collect people on your email. Or one thing we can briefly talk about, if you don't think it's going to be too complex, is the DM list. This feature that exists in the DMs where you can actually send people out messages. To be clear, it's different than broadcast channels, which I'd imagine a lot of people, creators in your audience may already be testing out. But instead, the DM list allows you to send messages one-on-one to people, but all like in batch, right? Just like you would send out an email campaign. So what we do with these wait lists also is get people on that list and get their email so that they can receive a notification on both sides when we drop that thing that's going to be coming out. So that's kind of the first phase of it. Then the second phase of it then is as soon as we drop the thing, now we're able to get people into another chat funnel. So waitlist is kind of chat funnel number 1, if you will. And then chat funnel number 2 is then, hey, we've launched this protein supplement. We're so excited. The people who got first access, you know, a couple days ago, all have already been able to get access to it. Like, however you want to do that, social proof, right? And then chat funnel number 2 is we always collect name, email, and then send people to wherever they need to go next. So for anybody who hasn't given you their name and email, we now do that and we send them right over to whatever buy page they're going to do. For ecom, usually that's the main page of the website or the main product page. And I was wanting to pull up my little page here of exactly how many sales one of our clients got for this exact same strategy. So I'm going to pull that for you right now.
Please do.
But
We will nerd out together. I'm here for the case studies because it gets me excited because it's like what is truly possible with, you know, I know that there's paid ads and there's that entire avenue, but what I think is so freaking cool about chat funnels is all of that is free. This is a free way for you to create leads that are ideal leads right in their DMs. Like what? Like why is not everyone doing this? So please tell us all of the numbers, all the stats. We're here for it.
Totally. Okay. So this, I just was able to find it, which I'm so glad it was like right here. So their conversion rate on collecting emails in the waitlist and then also the sales process was 91.4%, which means that people who commented on a post or replied to a story, just so your listeners can understand, 91.4% of those people then also shared their emails in the DMs, which is a couple steps later. But I mean, as you know, Erica, and anybody else who's maybe been through your chat funnels, in fact, in your audience, or maybe seen some of this process, it happens so quickly that there's not friction in actually being able to collect that data in the process. And then they collected 800 pre-orders for their new protein product, which actually funded all their inventory, their marketing campaign, and their next inventory batch. So it was a really big deal for them. And they were actually in the same cohort as you. And so they like had that first funnel they launched, right? And then they were able to do this pre-launch, having known already kind of how it all works. And it was really cool to see. And it's such a great example for literally anybody that wants to do like a wait list or pre-order strategy.
So good. What is another case study that you have? What's another one that you can share? We could do another rapid fire for, I think a lot of my audience too is in affiliate marketing.
Yes.
They share affiliate links for Amazon or a brand that they're partnered with, or maybe even like a digital product that they're affiliating for. What is another example of how you can do this as an affiliate marketer with chat funnels?
Yes. Okay. So, in terms of what you're affiliating, whether it is, for example, right now we have a ton of our clients affiliating for another one of our clients where there are like free webinars or online course purchases that we can point people to. But do you think it'd be more helpful to speak through maybe like a brand partnership kind of thing, or like to know it, where like you can send people to Amazon or some of those places where you might have like your outfits on there or health products or anything like that? It's kind of like an affiliate storefront.
How do I choose? They're both so juicy. Let's start with first the affiliate brand partnership, like what that looks like.
Okay. Cool. So for affiliate brand partners, we have one of our clients, her first 100K is their Instagram handle. And one of their biggest partners is essentially a like checking/savings account, because they talk all about finance. And so this campaign, historically, it's done well for them, but not as well as when we implemented chat funnels, of course. And so what we did was, as I briefly spoke through, you have people comment on the post. And so to date, I think we are now at like 3,000 to 4,000 signups. And that was just in the last couple of days. And the way that it works is people comment, they receive the message, right? We collect their name and their email. So now all those new emails have been added to their email list, which again is one of the biggest powerful pieces of this, because you don't usually get that data when you send people over to an affiliate storefront. So you just lose all those people when you don't collect. So we're at and in fact, I could actually bring up to tell you exactly. I think I know we're past 90%, so it's not going to be that much more fun, but let's say, I think the highest we've done with them is 96%. So maybe like 92 is probably where I would estimate we're at right this moment, where 92% of those people sharing their email. And then we point people over to the sales page for that brand partner. And this has been, I believe, one of the biggest campaigns or like influxes of traffic that the financial partner has received, right? Through like all the different kind of pieces of their relationship. And so with anyone you're partnering with, Athletic Greens is one I see a lot of the time, right? Or some of these like more, health-based ones that a lot of different influencers are willing to promote. One of the fun things you can do, one of my friends that also does brand partnerships, is he'll offer this as like an add-on to the package. So if you're like, hey, I am going to like promote X amount of posts for you, X amount of stories. And if you want me to also do a chat funnel, then it's going to be X additional, right, in your like promo package. So that's something interesting to think about for those of you who are charging for, your brand partnerships. And it's not like like you're getting an amount per sign up, for example.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, that's so genius. So, you teased me with the idea of talking through what it could look like for a like to know it or an Amazon affiliate. What about that for someone who is promoting a product, a physical product? They have their affiliate link. How could that work? And what are those conversions looking like?
Yeah, so I think one of the fun things you can do with this stuff is there's two ways you could approach it. So either you can do what we just talked about, which is, hey, like these shoes, right? Talk about specific pair of shoes, specific pair of whatever item essentially on your stories, posts, even lives, which can be fun too as like a try on haul. And then being able to have people comment and get that specific item the same way I just described. Now, the other version of that, and I think there's also kind of two potential ways you could do this without getting too crazy and technical, is approaching it kind of like a quiz where you can say, hey, either these are my favorite things, or the angle that we find works the best usually is like, hey, I'm trying to like solve this specific problem, right? So I want to put together my like work outfits, or I'm struggling with like whatever problem solution. I mean, you're a marketing expert, you get it. And I'm sure people hear it from you all the time, is like, just be as specific as possible in the outcome that you guys want to promise people in your content and then therefore in your chat funnel. So if you can position it kind of like a quiz where you're like, hey, I've got this outfit, or I love these products that I just got from Amazon, like everything that you need for back to school, like under $20, or however you want to kind of approach that. And then you can be like, well, hey, let me figure out like which specific item you really need. So you're helping people make the decision and you're converting people a lot higher too. So you could have it be like even 3 to 5 very simple questions. And they could be more whimsical questions too, if you wanted to, like, what candle scent would you be? Or like, these like super silly kind of things. But sometimes that works really well for B2C, business to consumer because we just want something light and fun, versus like B2B is a little bit more like, tell me exactly how much money I'm going to make from this.
Yep.
Right. So for those more kind of fun, Amazon or like to know it links or anything like that people are using, if you position it as kind of a quiz and just give it a fun name with a specific outcome and then ask 3 to 5 questions, then at the end you can point them to the right product that they should get. And we typically see a 90% plus click rate to that product. And then the conversion rate is pretty high. Conversion will depend on the price, right? If it's $200 versus $5, more of an impulse buy versus, okay, let me think about it for the next couple of weeks. But ultimately, that's a really easy way for people to be able to connect further with your audience too. You increase your touch points, and then ultimately you're able to point people to the right product for them. Because I think one of the biggest challenges that I see a lot of content creators or people who use Like to Know It or Amazon or anything like that is that they have way too many things. And so people are like, okay, I love everything you're promoting. Like, what the hell should I buy? So being able to just be like, buy this one thing. This is what you need. I think just accomplishes so many things on like the personal touch front and also actually getting people to convert to that item and making them feel good about it.
I love this so much because I did this yesterday unknowingly without even having your expertise like in my ear, but I did so for anyone who's listening, you're like, okay, I need to figure out how this is going to apply to my content creation, my business. So yesterday I had posted a hair tutorial. And one thing that I will say about why I love chat funnels is because it creates more engagement on your posts. So if you're someone who is posting content and you feel like nobody's commenting, nobody's, so which really affects your boost in the algorithm, because if no one's commenting, then it's telling Instagram that nobody really is engaging, and they could see it, but it's a whole nother thing if they're commenting. Like, we want comments, and that's what gets you on the explore page, right? So I posted a hair tutorial and I said, comment link below and I will hook you up with my hair care favorites. And so in the actual chat funnel, I said, what are you looking for? Do you want the products or do you want the curling iron? And so they were able to choose which one they wanted. And then later I was like, let me know if you wanted a customized hair care routine. And then there was a quiz also incorporated in that later down the line. So it's like, it just gives, I think, the consumer a feeling of like they're in control and they're not just like being sent to a page. There's like a little bit of engagement with you. Obviously, they know it's a funnel and it's automation, but I even had someone comment yesterday after they went through my chat funnel, and they're like, I know this is automated, but I really loved it. And I was like, yes, like such a good win. I was like, that's the best compliment you could give me, because I didn't have to be there on my phone sending you the link. I was with my son making dinner, and I'm, later I look and say, oh wow, a bunch of people commented. And what a cool feeling to know that your business is growing while you're not there, while you're not actually actively working it. So many little touch points there that I just had to bring up. But what would you say to someone who is like, they feel resistance to creating a chat funnel because they're like, well, it takes out the personal touch, and I'm in a people business, which I think there's so many industries, right? We're all in the people business. If we're selling anything, we are in a people business. So what would you say to someone who's feeling like, I don't know if this could work for what I do, because I sell and it's me and it has to be me having the conversation, and does it take the humanity out of it? Like, what do you say to those people?
Yeah, there's two sides of it. There's the short and the long term kind of mindset shift that I think is helpful for people to make. In the short term, looking at like what you can do inside of the DMs, you're able to use things like voice notes and selfie videos, images, GIFs, these things that really make it personalized and kind of standardized across the board. So I think that one of the biggest benefits is everybody gets that same great experience from you, even if it's not you, but it's your likeness, and they're willing to engage with that because it's going to be convenient, speedy, and delightful in a way that you will never be able to service your audience at, because there's just way too much volume. Like, even if you only had 10 or 100 people in your DMs and not thousands, still your ability to get back to people is ultimately going to be much slower than just being able to give everybody the same experience that you already know guaranteed they're going to have by being able to set that up ahead of time and have those personal touches in there. Like I said, videos, audios, etc. So I think that's kind of the first aspect of it, is being able to go through the process yourself. I think usually makes that mindset shift a lot easier, because you're like, oh my gosh, that actually felt really good. Because if we just talk about it here as like, if you were to ask, let's say 100 people in your audience, how do you feel about using automation like in place of of you in the DMs. It's like without any of the context of what it looks like, or everybody's so used to, unfortunately, those unsolicited DMs that you get. So it kind of holds a negative stigma, I think, in the content creator and overall just social media communities. People are like, they want to engage with a human. But again, if it's positioned in the right way, and if you can get people what they want, which is really just the outcome that you're promising them, then people are so much more open to it. And you also then realize as the business owner, you're serving people at a much deeper level and in a better way than you possibly could if everything's manual. Now, the second kind of piece to that is, and one of the things that I love our clients will do and make an effort for, especially those like you who like care about your community, like it's your personal brand, for example, on that Instagram account, is after people go through the automation, sometimes they'll pop in and still be like engaging with people's stories or like replying back to them being like, hey, I'm so glad that you grabbed that free download. By the way, love what you do, like, you know, a quick kind of personal note. And I've noticed that that makes a big difference because as one of my clients, Anthony O'Neill, put it, it's like they know I'm watching and they know that I'm there. And that's the most important thing. I think that's where the like misconception comes from, is like, oh, if I use automation, people are going to think I'm not even on Instagram and like I don't care about them as a result of that. But rather it's, hey, this is in combination. This is an and situation, not or. So that's kind of the first piece. Does that help in terms of, you know, kind of helping people understand how to maybe think about it?
Yeah, it helps so much. And I think it just, it's the foundation of social, right? Of what social media is. It's being social. It's creating that relationship with your audience, but it doesn't mean that you can't utilize some of these technological advances, or, you know, the things that Meta has now available to us to be able to work smarter and not harder. And that kind of segues this into a different conversation I want to have with you around, because obviously the clients that you work with a lot of them are just mega influencers. They have large platforms, they're content creators, they are thought leaders. And I think just the conversation around how social media is changing or how we are consuming content now. And I see that, you know, short form video is what we should all be creating if you want to have relevant content on social. There's just so much that I noticed that even shorter pieces of content is what people engage with, or, you know, and maybe I'm completely wrong on all that because you're the expert and you're the one who sees it all, you know, from a bird's eye view, and you can see all of these clients you have and their content creation. But what do you feel like is working right now? So if someone is trying to grow their brand online, and maybe chat funnels is like their next step, maybe a couple steps from now, but they really just need to solidify their own real strategy, their own content strategy, like what it is that they're posting, how often they're posting, what are some of those core, you know, elements that you teach your clients or you're having them post. Because I feel like this is all great and a chat funnel is awesome, but if you don't have good content, people aren't going to get into your chat funnel. Like, we got to have the good content first. So what makes good content? What are some things that you can share around that?
So content wise, I think what's working the best right now, and like a more sustainable system to kind of think about, is how do I create content for the next like couple of months in a wireframe that's going to work for me, instead of just how do I get tomorrow's post out? Because that kind of survival mentality of, okay, I've just got to get out tomorrow, I've just got to get out tomorrow, does kind of stunt the growth of, okay, well, what's really working across my account and how can I kind of look at it from a bird's eye view, which is going to allow people to really create a strategy that allows them to grow consistently. So you kind of become familiar with what does your audience want from you. And if you feel like you don't even have an audience, like what are just people in general interested about on Instagram? And I think that comes down to 3 buckets is really what we've identified over the years. There is health, wealth, and relationships. At the end of the day, most of the time, people are going to care the most about topics within those situations. And then from there, you can now bridge the gap between a general kind of desire to be more healthy to then your product, your niche, kind of your company. And so thinking about those buckets, if you can hit on all 3 of them because you have a personal brand, that's even better. Where at any time when you're thinking about your content hooks or the categories that you're going to be talking about, being able to ensure that it falls under one of those is really helpful. And if it's not clear enough, then you want to clarify it a little bit more to fall under one of those, because it's just going to do the best on Instagram, kind of having that broad angle. From there, and this is something that I believe you've gone through as well and kind kind of know about, but being able to then decide, okay, what do I really care about? What's going to support my business or the brand partnerships I have if I don't have a product that is mine, that I own, is deciding on 3 to 5 themes that then can tie to your offers, or just tie to one offer, in fact, if you wanted to. So for example, you could have, let's say, someone that's a personal brand, it's a woman, she's a mom, she has an online business that sells digital products, right? We might have 3 kind of content pillars that are motherhood, maybe email marketing, 'cause she's focused on teaching email, and then maybe getting healthy because she has lost a lot of weight over the last couple of years, and that's been a journey that she's taken her audience on or has shared about online. So when we have those 3 things, then what we're able to do is determine, okay, if she has, let's say, one course and it's an email marketing course, then from there what we're able to do is when we talk about motherhood, yes, motherhood is interesting because it's under the relationships umbrella. It's a pretty big one. There are billions of mothers, right? And so being able to relate to moms about some situation that has come up recently, or being a mom, in this era, like however you want to kind of frame it, but then bridging that back to her email marketing course, because being able to like sell her email marketing course on autopilot allows her to be more present as a mom. Like these kinds of bridges that you can make to like, here's the mechanism for how I'm doing this and how then it ties back to health, wealth, or relationships is one of the most powerful understandings that I have personally had and seen in our clients, as well as anybody, quite frankly, that I've spoken to that's a really prolific content creator. And then as you guys can imagine, those other buckets, right? The health piece, okay, I've been able to get more healthy as a result of that. I've had more time. And then that's allowed me to realize how powerful email is. And then, so on and so forth. So that's just one way you can do it. And I think for you, you have to sit down and think about like, what am I willing to talk about all the time, even if nobody were to listen? And then be able to kind of bridge that gap between then what are the content pillars that also support my business, so that you have kind of that trifecta of what do people give a crap about, what do I give a crap about, and then what can I ultimately make sure bridges between like my business and then these kind of other pillars that need to happen.
I literally am so obsessed with this, and I will just speak from my own experience, and I could probably just pull up my Instagram myself. But I started, obviously it was in your cohort in July. So it was like beginning of July. At the time of this recording, it's mid-September. And at the time I was averaging on my reels probably 10,000 views on a reel, and that's okay for, 49,000 followers. And I really have shifted how I'm posting now. And I mean, I'm just looking at a snapshot of the last few reels that I've done. I mean, 100,000 views, 286,000 views, 70,000 views, like way beyond what it was before. And the thing that I will say is that how you are teaching content creation is landing people like me on the Explore page. And that is generating a ton of shares, a ton of engagement. And so this stuff works. One thing I think is really interesting about how you teach content creation too is obviously having those themes. So say motherhood, health, email marketing. One thing I think is interesting is how you teach is one theme per week versus per day. And I would love for you to kind of dive into that, because I think when it comes to, as the content creator, you think you're inundating your people with like, oh, am I just boring them? Am I repeating myself? But I think there's a element of like creating a piece of content and messaging over a longer period of time that's like landing better. I know this is a super granular question, but I'm like granular. So I'd love for you to talk about why that works. Why does me talking about one theme for a week versus just one day make sense?
Yeah, and I think there's an interesting kind of sense of the like Goldilocks rule, if you will, of it being just familiar enough, but also being new that you're able to hit when you're rotating through your themes, because people feel like they're getting to know you, just like on this podcast, right? It's not like, I mean, you have people who listen to every episode, but you also have people who will like listen to whatever episodes like really, really pull their attention. And so in the same manner, when you're on Instagram, like you decide to follow somebody usually for one specific reason. Maybe I decide to follow you because I am looking to create my own digital product, right? Or I'm looking to like create better content. There's usually one main reason. And then there are supplementary reasons of, oh, I love how she like dresses, or I love, how she is as a mother, like to her kids, or I like these other things, but I really am here for one core reason. And because people are going to be there for different reasons, having the content pillars, those 3 to 5 that we talked about, about are really helpful so that you are continuing to reinforce their decision to be there and to follow you, because you're fulfilling on the promise that they came to you for, which is, I want to learn digital product creation. Or in my example, right, of motherhood, email marketing, health, it's like, oh, I came to her because I want to have inspiration for somebody else who has lost weight like I want to lose weight, or somebody who is a mother and has figured out how to be a business owner and a mom, or who is really good at email marketing because I just really need help with that. So ultimately, then when you cycle through that and to get a little bit more granular, right, the way that we have found this system to be most successful is when we have week 1 of your system, whenever that starts, right, is your first content theme. So let's say that was motherhood. And again, in terms of what we're pointing to that week, we have 3 to 5 posts ideally that week that send people to your chat funnel for whatever your offer is. So I gave the example of there's one offer, an email marketing course. And so we could have 3 to 5 posts that week talking about motherhood, but all of them have the call to action for people to enter your chat funnel. And then that bridges the gap to then your email marketing course, as an example.
So good.
In between that, you want to have other content too, though. So then the micro cadence of that is post 1 of the week might be comment, blueprint, and I'll get you access to this. Post 2 might be, hey, just a quick like engagement question, like, here's what I do as a mom, like anybody else, just like simple things like that. And then the third post might just be nothing, just a simple share or something of value or like a lifestyle update. And then you go back in your micro cadence to, okay, comment, then engagement question, then no call to action. And so when you do that throughout the week, then that allows you to get as many tries as possible, right? As many shots out there as you can of getting people into your funnels, but then you're also spending time with each part of your audience enough to where it's not just one post, but it's a little bit more, you're building that relationship. And then now the following week, you're gonna serve a different segment of your audience. But you'll also find that people who are interested in, content pillar 1 are like, oh, I'm actually also interested in content pillar 2, or I know that she'll talk about that concept again. So for right now, I'm maybe not going to engage with these posts about health because I don't really care. I'm super healthy already, or like, I'm not interested in that. But when she talks about motherhood or email marketing in the future, I know I'm going to engage with that. Mm-hmm. And then we continue kind of that cycle. Then on the macro level, it's week 1, 2, 3, then repeat. And then on the micro level, it's comment, engagement, question, no CTA, and then repeat again.
So freaking good. And this answers the question for anyone who is listening and you're like, I am multi-passionate. I want to talk about more than just one thing. On the conversation around niche where everyone is saying you need to have a niche, you shouldn't have a niche. It's such a warring question that, different types of, coaches and influencers have on the social platforms that I'm on. It's like, but you don't have to necessarily have one specific niche if you do it in this way and you really think about your audience in this way, which I think is freaking brilliant, so juicy, it's so good. For the person who needs the tools, like what are the tools, what are your main tools that we're using for chat funnels, and how are they going to go and create their first one?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's 2 things really that you need. The first is a strategy and the second is the tech implementation. So for tech, the first thing that you can do just to kind of get your hands dirty and like create that momentum for yourself is you can check out the software that runs all of this, which you can think of kind of like an email marketing software, except for your DMs. So this is where your list is going to be hosted. This is where you're actually going to put in the copy, the text that you want to show in the DMs, your videos, your audios, all that stuff. It's all handled in there beautifully for you. And this is a platform we've been using for the last 7 years now. So we deeply trust their team and their ability to just continue to create a stable place where you can do all of this. And they're also one of the top partners with Meta directly. So everything that you would do on this platform is 100% compliant with Instagram's platform policies. So you don't have to worry about like breaking something or getting penalized or getting in trouble for anything, because everything you will do will be within the parameters of Instagram's rules, essentially. So the platform is called ManyChat, and you guys can actually use the code Natasha to get 30 days for free if you would like to, so that way you can see kind of how this works, start to test things out. Like Erica and I were saying, there's so many ideas you can all go and do. Even if it's super simple and it's just the first autoresponder, it's not a back and forth, that's okay. Like it's better to get something up than to just be like, okay, I'm gonna wait until I'm ready and then a year passes, right? So that's the tech piece of it. And then on the strategy side, we have quite a few free resources. If you want me to briefly maybe point people to one, I would really love to help anybody who's here listening right now gain an understanding with visuals and kind of a little bit deeper into case studies of like, how does does this all really work and how can I decide what I want to start with? So I do have a free masterclass that people can check out that gives you guys those visuals, and you can watch it anytime you would like to. If you just want to DM me the word Erica, then I'll go ahead and shoot that over to you. And anything that you need as you go through that, you can always DM me with any questions too, because I'm always happy to be a resource. Whether you are like, I need to do this tomorrow, or you're like, maybe I'm just getting started with my content or my business and I'm still kind of trying to figure it out. I'm here to answer any questions in between those two sides of it.
And I will say to the strategy piece, because I was playing around with ManyChat before I worked with you,
yes,
and joined the School of Bots cohort. I was playing around with it, and there's templates in ManyChat, and it's really cool to get in there. And I encourage you, if you're listening, get in there, just try it out. It's going to feel foreign to you at first, and it's a lot to grasp in the beginning. But once you see it and you kind of see it play out, and I love ManyChat too. They have little tutorial videos, and they have templates that you can access, and so it's fairly simple to set up. But the strategy piece is the next level of really understanding the psychology of why a specific trigger word works over another, or why you want to use a specific emoji in a specific place. Like, that's the thing that I think is so mind-blowing about what you and your agency do, is that you've tested this millions of times, so you know what works, and don't put that emoji there, put it here instead, or
yes,
this is exactly what you should write in your button, instead of whatever you feel like writing. That's the element that's going to really increase your conversions and really help you build through your chat funnels. And I'm a testament of that. I went through the cohort myself. I'd love for you to plug it and just kind of talk about how, if someone is like listening to this and they want to work with you, obviously, yes, go ahead and DM the word Erica. You can watch the free masterclass, which is really fantastic. I've watched it myself. I've been in all the things. But in terms of where can we go next? Like, if I'm okay, I really want to learn from Natasha. I want to be a part of School of Bots. Where can someone go, and what's the first step that you recommend?
Yeah. So it's going to depend on where you're kind of at right now in your business and your Instagram account. So I'll just preface with, you want to have at least 10,000 followers to dive into our deepest advanced strategies, because, to Erica's point, you want to start with, first off, let's get great content out the door consistently so that you're getting consistent eyeballs. And then the next step of that, depending on if your business is like, hey, I have a proven product that people are already buying, or I need to create a proven product. If you're in kind of that first boat, then at least getting your hands and dirty in terms of understanding how this all works. Like you said, dive into ManyChat, see those templates, etc. Then the next level of that is, if you have 10,000 followers and you have a product that people are already consistently buying, however they're buying it on different mediums, paid ads, whatever, then we do have our program called Chat Funnel Fast Track, and it's a 4-week process where we help you launch your chat funnel, the more complex, kind of advanced, beautiful version of what you can do inside of the platform, but then that's going to get you those juicy 85% plus conversion rates, help you grow your email list, and help you get sales every single time you post on Instagram. So that's the outcome that you're getting from that process. And it happens relatively quickly compared to like launching ads or like any other, kind of marketing strategy, because we launch that usually within 3 weeks, and you can have you or your team member go through it, or both. And our team is there to really give you everything you possibly need. So you have access to me, you have access to our chat marketing coaches who have been doing this nearly for as long as I have, and have kind of like trained under us and have done this for our most complex and prestigious accounts. And then you also get a dedicated client success manager too. So literally anything you need, we kind of mold our support for what you and your team need, whether you are more of a solopreneur or you have several team members that would be able to own this for you.
And I will say, from my experience, going through the Chat Funnel Fast Track, you over deliver. Like, when I was in that course, I was messaging my business besties and I was like, why are you not in this with me? Like, this is so good. The level of support you guys give is literally unheard of. I mean, and I have been in very high level programs before, but the way that you guys show up for your students it's second to none. So I can't recommend enough. So good. Natasha, where can people find you? Where can they come follow you and learn more about you and chat funnels on social?
Yeah, absolutely. Go and check out Natasha T. Willis on Instagram. That's the easiest way to reach me directly. School of Bots also has an Instagram, and you are welcome to reach out to us there. But if you want to shoot me a message directly, and like we said, DM me, Erica, and we'll have a couple of pathways for you naturally, so that way you can kind of let me know what you need. And then if Chat Funnel Fast Track is the thing and you're like, I'm ready to dive into that yesterday, then we'll lead you to, where you need to go to learn more about that. Otherwise, I do think that the free masterclass is a great way way for anybody, regardless of the outcome you're looking for and how ready you are to implement, just to get that foundational understanding and be able to see everything. So I'll point you to that. We've got other resources as well. If you're like, I'm super short on time, just give me like a quick 5-minute thing. So anything that you guys need, you can reach out to me directly on Instagram and I'll take care of you from there.
So juicy. Thank you for being willing to go there today. You know, we got granular, we got nitty gritty, and I'm so here for it. And I know this is going to be so valuable. So I just appreciate you so much. Thank you for being on the show.
Yes, same to you. This was so much fun. This was better than I could have imagined. So you're always just such a blast to chat with. So thank you. And thank you to everybody who tuned in. I appreciate you all. And I hope you found it valuable.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Trust Issues Podcast. Make sure you go ahead and DM at Natasha T. Willis, Erica, to learn more about School of Bots and how you can start using chat funnels to scale your business to its full potential. We'll see you next time.